Hey y'all, what's up? It's Friday, so I'm gonna keep it black, but I'm gonna keep it brief. I am back, everyone. Yes, you are all welcome. I genuinely hope you enjoyed my substitute teachers, but it's time to get back to your regularly scheduled programming. So let's get into it. White people will do anything, and they ought to be shamed, but they not. If you haven't been tapped in, then you might not know that apparently the movie The Blind Side was all a lie. The story we've come to know, based on the life of retired football star Michael Oher, was actually manufactured by the Tuohy family and turned into an Oscar-winning film. Why y'all like to award Oscars to movies about black people needing white people is another conversation for another day. The movie had a great concept and could have been based on a great story had it depicted Michael Oher's own incredible journey from the Tennessee foster care system to playing D1 football at Ole Miss. But instead, it's mostly about Leanne Tuohy and her white saviorism. Except in real life, it more so seems like she was hitting a lick instead of saving somebody. While the film rests on this act of altruism of adopting Michael Oher into the Tuohy family, in real life, these people coerced him into signing a conservatorship, putting them in complete control of his money. See, the Tuohys did not take Michael in until he was 18 years old, which is past the time of legal adoption. This was also the year before his senior year in high school, which is around the time high school athletes commit to collegiate teams. And if you recall from the movie, the Tuohys themselves were Ole Miss alums. So the NCAA said it would be best for Michael to be legally attached to them if he was going to play at Ole Miss so they didn't seem like boosters. And I'm not talking about figuring out which mom is bringing the Gatorades to which game. I'm talking about boosters that act as third parties to financially support athletes or funneling athletes into teams. And when the Tuohys brought the conservatorship papers to Michael, they explained it away to him as something like an adoption to satisfy the NCAA's requirements. And what we also remember from the film is that Michael was behind the learning curve. Having been in the foster care system for 11 years, families and teachers kept passing him on to the next person, and nobody made it a point to share that he needed help until he got into this Christian school. I say all that to say, even if they thought they could manipulate Michael into thinking this was an adoption, why did they go and tell everybody else it was an adoption? There's a lot to unpack here. Number one, black people have been tricked into signing some shit under the pretense it was some other shit for decades following the Reconstruction, because up until the Reconstruction, it was illegal for us to read. Black people have been conned into signing their life away to work peonage debt they did not owe. Conned out of their land, conned out of their uteri, conned into syphilis experiments because they didn't understand the papers in front of them. Number two, you wanted everybody to believe you adopted him because you wanted to be perceived as a good white person while actively practicing being a bad one. Because according to Michael, he was coerced into signing away the right to negotiate contracts to the Tuohys, who were also then able to make a deal for the film where they and their two biological children each made $225,000 and a 2.5% share of net profits from the film, a film that ended up grossing over $300 million and $14K apiece from the book. And what's crazy is that you use this story as a method to further justify this conservatorship by painting the picture that Michael could not take care of himself without you. There's a scene where the Tuohy's youngest son, SJ, is supposedly teaching Mike how to play football with food condiments, when in fact Michael had been playing the sport for years and had already been recognized for his talent. There's also a scene where Leanne shows Mike his room and he says, "Oh, I've never had a bed before." Never? Never is nuts. But the guys of white saviorship will do it for y'all every time. It's your blueprint. It's your modus operandi, if you will. The concept was popularized from a poem written by Rudyard Kiplings about the Philippine-American War, entitled The White Man's Burden. But white saviorhood was in fact the key tenet and or justification for slavery from the jump, suggesting that blacks in Africa were going to hell in a handbasket, didn't have on no clothes or civilization, so they needed white people to save their souls. Dang it, I forgot my Bible. I ain't never seen that in the book. And while we talking about it, that's exactly the shit DeSantis over there in Florida and the people over there in Arkansas are talking about, spewing lies saying the slaves learn new skills. The fuck was a resource poor society gonna teach an agricultural society about agriculture? That's why you went over there and got them in the first place, because y'all couldn't do what y'all was asking them to do. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, the poem's rhetoric became synonymous with imperialism and served as a balm to soothe white people's egos as they raped and pillaged foreign lands for profit. And in keeping with the same ideology, Leanne and friends said, "Let's save this big black boy who just happens to be an extremely talented athlete and funnel him through our alma mater. And because we invested money into getting him there, we feel completely entitled to trick him into signing away his rights." Oh my God, it's the philanthropy for us, really. Her husband, Sean Tuohy, had the nerve to say the other day that they were devastated to hear of a lawsuit and that it's upsetting to think that they will ever make money off any of their kids. Huh? That's what you did. And it's interesting to me because if you know making money off your kids is bad enough to make that statement of deflection, why would you do it in the first place? Y'all be so quick to say, "I'm not racist, I'm not a bigot, I'm not exploiting a black body," just like they did in the olden days. It's just a conservatorship. Stop playing on his top and run Big Mike his coins. Oh, y'all got your shirts yet? Y'all got your hats? They're going up. Check your emails for the code.